And I really like Nate Schumer.
He sounds like a pretty awesome doggo dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny when you said he's like military trained. Like, what is he? He's
A
Navy,
Marine.
Marine. Yeah, hooah! To tell me his like military style. He's like, all right, dog, get down, give me 20. Hooah!
He looks like he's probably a Marine, but
Does he? Does he got like
his
the buzz
voice,
cut?
yeah.
Is he like a buff like
Yep.
buzz cut like?
Yep.
Welcome to Let's Boop Snoots.
Welcome.
I'm Heidi.
And I'm Vero. And today we're gonna boop snoots.
We are gonna boop snoot.
We've got some exciting news today.
Oh yes, Vera did get some exciting news today.
Ooh.
Tell them.
The puppy is born.
The puppy!
The
The puppy! Oh my god, I can remember when I got the email that Gibbon was born, and I was just like, oh my god, next level excited. And it feels like years like that you're gonna wait until you get your puppy. But really, it's just 8 weeks.
But it's gonna feel like years. And
It
I was
is.
in the middle of doing something important
Mm-hmm.
with a group
You
of
were at work,
people.
right?
I was at work when I saw the email come in, but that I couldn't check it. So, yeah,
That's funny.
I'm on this big high right now.
And you also get to go for a puppy swarm, don't you?
Yes.
Yes,
I
that's
think when they're
exciting.
5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks.
I love it.
And what's exciting, so usually when you get a puppy from a breeder, the breeder asks you like what type of temperament you're looking for, what type of lifestyle do you have, and then they match you with the puppy that they think would best fit you. With this breeder, we get to pick the puppy.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I was the last one on the list for a male, but it looks like, I don't know if they got a lot of males in the previous litters. It looks like I am the first one to pick. So I get first pick.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what's funny is? So when we went for our puppy swarm to meet Gibbon, like I took videos because they had like this big, it was outdoor, like outdoors on their huge lawn, and they had like a big closed in like playpen sort of like area, and they were they had toys out and a blanket and stuff like that, and again taking the puppies outside to socialize them to outdoors grass, like all these different things, and that's where they would take them for when people would come to visit the puppies and like have a look. So I took videos, of course, and it was my husband, my son, and myself, all rolling around and playing with the puppies and getting puppy swarmed. Like my son was like laying down and they were all climbing on top of him and licking his face and sniffing at him and like
Oh,
you know what I mean, like all of that.
I can't
And
wait.
they all had different colored collars. Like that seems to be what like a lot of breeders do. Like they put a
Yeah,
different
they do
colored
that.
collar so that you know, like, oh, I like the red is a male, like the yellow's a male, or whatever, so that you can like pick which color you want. Like, and so we went back like after, so when we were looking at the puppies, we were like, oh, like, and we were like third or fourth pick or something like that. So we wanted the guy with like the red collar, and we didn't mind whether it was male or female, but we wanted red collar guys. So we were like, oh man, I hope we get red collar. I hope we get red collar. And we ended up with Gibbs, who had the blue collar on. So, anyways, so we went back to look at those videos, and it's funny because we were watching Gibbon compared to like the rest of like the puppies in the litter. So it was fun to go back and like look at that. We were like, oh my god,
How
look at
was
him.
he? Was he like the calm one in the corner? Or was he?
Yeah, he was like so all the puppies were like climbing over our laps and like, you know, chewing on our fingers and like those types of things, and Gibbon was just like walking around the periphery, like he was just like doom 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 and like tripped over like another puppy and like like it was just funny like going back to watch. So anyways, super fun.
Ooh.
Video it
Oh, yes.
for sure.
Oh, don't worry.
um
Oh,
so
so excited.
so exciting. It's hard not to be distracted. However, today's episode, we decided to pick a few different trainers and talk about them, just profile a few different training programs and individual trainers that we know about, and just talk about them and their approaches and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
did you want me to go first?
sure.
All right. So,
Tell
um,
us.
a friend of mine talked to me about this Canadian dude, and his company is called Doggett Style Dog Training. So his name is Evan Doggett. And on his website, under his about page, it says, "My name is Evan Doggett, and yes, that's my real last name. I was bred for this job." Smiley face. Anyways, he is hilarious. Like when you first like even look at a photo of him, and he does several different photos and videos, like as all many of the different breeders and companies do. But he's just like this super like goofy, like just funny guy. Like it's he's has a very like comical and sort of approach to like his videos and his advertising or anything and stuff like that. So he's very funny. He's very lovable. Um, and um he offers a lot of different things. So, again, it seems to be a lot of videos for right now, but his background is like he just was super passionate about dogs from a super young age. Um, and he did a variety of training. He decided to just like go and like use a bunch of different people's approaches. And he even um, flew to California so that he could work with Caesar Milan. And
Ooh.
yeah, and he went through a variety of different people. He did some training with another top dog communicator, with a bunch of different people, and he even tried horse training for like one summer. He used to work as a trainer at PetSmart and like all these different things. So he decided to just like start his own thing, and he does videos and stuff like that, as I had mentioned. But if you go to his website like and watch like some of the, so right now he's advertising a seminar on separation anxiety. So again, he does this cute little comical like quick video about just a snippet trying to like lure you into his um, training for separation anxiety. Like, and the course is broken down into several different um, sections. So he talks about the different training. So his theory, he has one category called theory, and he talks about the types of training, the different ways to communicate, he phases of teaching, training with raw. So that would be an interesting one for you, Vero.
Yes.
Talks about food
Ooh.
motivation, and he talks about the three amigos, which is consistency, motivation, and timing. He talks about all the different commands that he teaches, which is like, again, most of the companies are going to do this. It's like the come, recall, stay, down, place, like our boundary training, look or watch, sit, stand, leash walking with distractions, and like all these quick training little sessions that he does. And then he talks about the different tools that he uses. Oh, yeah. And by the way, he uses a balanced approach to dog training.
Ooh.
And so he talks about training tools, which is like different crate types, options, and conditioning. Common tools such as collars, leashes, electric collars, etc. He talks about the gentle leader conditioning, the prong collar, and again, like crate conditioning is another area. He also does like a little bit on health, and he talks about spay and neuter. He talks
Okay.
about gut health. He talks about raw feeding. He talks about dog massage, teeth cleaning, pet first aid, um, grooming. I'm not going to say this right, but it's like homeopathy. So like all the like,
Homeopathy.
yes, like natural approaches to um, treating your dog. He talks about weight loss and arthritis and exercise, and then separation anxiety. He has a whole area on unwanted behaviors, the nipping, uh, guarding, whining and anxiety, like barking, and all this sort of stuff. He does stuff on body language, talking about how to read the signs of your dog and stuff like that. And then he talks about raising a puppy and or a rescue, so he separates the two as well. Like, so there's like the puppy and like how to go about that, and then a rescue, which is a very different can be a very different approach.
Mm-hmm.
And then he puts this section in, which I think is, um, he has another section of his training, which I think that he offers, which I think is amazing. And it's the human aspect to it. So he talks about leadership training, and then he talks about life coaching. And um, he even has a part which I think is like very interesting. And I haven't seen this with other trainers that I've seen or heard about yet, but talking about managing fear of dogs. Um, I can't remember if I mentioned this on an episode, but when I was 3 years old, I was bit by a dog in the face, like really badly.
Oh.
And my sister was terrified of dogs, like well into her adulthood. And now she has two little dogs, one which bit me, but but there's a lot of people who have an extraordinary fear of dogs. My neighbor.
I was terrified of dogs for no reasons. I didn't have a bad experience. I was just terrified of dogs when I was younger.
Hmm.
Yeah, I went to a friend's house. Yeah, I think I mentioned on a previous episode, and
Yes.
I had this friend, Jennifer. She lived on a farm, so they had usually had like about three dogs. They had to put them in a room when I went to her place because I was terrified. They had beautiful dogs too,
Yes.
but yeah, I was so scared.
But like, and I think like when we were talking about that at one point, um is that their dogs are used as different in different forms and styles in different countries and stuff like that. So even in our previous neighborhood, we had these two kids that were from Indonesia, and they played with our sons all the time. And the first time I can remember them coming to our door to ask if our kids can come out to play, and I opened the door and was like, oh hey, and like Becky and Scraps like ran, and they were like, ah, like they like backed like right up. But it's because like they're used like for like police, like they're, and so they seem like aggressive. They think they see dogs as being like these aggressive creatures that are used for like policing or military or that type of stuff, because they always have dogs with them, right? So they're not seen as being like a family member
Right.
or gentle pet, and depending on where you come from. Um, so back to Doggett style training. This guy's hilarious. I really enjoyed like watching a couple of his videos. I really enjoyed going through his site. I believe he's based out of the East Coast in Canada somewhere, and he has a blog, I believe, and he has several YouTube videos. But yeah, you can sign up for on online training sessions, and he breaks it up. It seems like he breaks it up into like short 5-minute videos and stuff like that. So, and he has this lovely section where he says meet the staff, and it's his three dogs. So
Aw.
he has a boxer named Rush, who is from Montreal. And I just love the way he even just did the little write-ups for his doggos. So it's bonjour, my name is Rush, Bangarang, Doggett, Rush for short. I'm originally from Montreal, Quebec, but since Evan paid the lady at the SPCA, I've been hanging out with him. I love running through the woods, chasing crows, and helping my dad teach dogs how to be social. I now have more bragging rights because my face is in the Doggett style logo. And it's true, like his boxer is like the logo, and he has t-shirts and stuff like that. And in one of his videos, he's Evan is wearing a mask with like a boxer style face, so it makes his face look like a boxer mouth. And I have since been like on the Google and Etsy places like looking for a mask that makes my face look like a dog.
Yeah,
I haven't found one
I've
yet. I
seen
want to
those.
find like,
Yeah,
have you? I want to
I've
find
seen Tucker.
I
Tucker
want
has
to
his own.
oh, does he?
Mm-hmm.
I want a Weimaraner one. A
Yeah.
Weimaraner. And
Weimaraner. I can't say that.
ag- again, here's the list of the training and experience that he has. So he studied under the Caesar Milan. He completed a unleashed potential canine certification with another master trainer by the name of Duke Ferguson, which I did not Google. Certified first level in Sin Alia training systems, um, completion of animal communication course, completed the Healthy Dog Conference, trained upland and waterfowl hunting dogs. So it just seems like he did a canine aggression and reactivity course. He did pet grooming for 2 years. He spent countless hours studying scent detection, tracking, agility, and clicker training. And so it just seems like he just looked up a whole bunch of different avenues to sort of give himself like this broad spectrum of experience. And there's a lot of things that you learn like in these different particular styles. I find it's just like anything in life, right, that you can transfer to other areas as well, right?
Yeah.
So you find like little helpful tips and hints along the way. So anyways, this guy's just hilarious. He's very entertaining like in his videos. So
Well, I'm gonna have to look him up.
yes, I'm a fan. The second, like when you look at the first photo of him, you're gonna laugh super hard. He has like this huge like mustache and long hair,
Oh.
and he puts his hair in like ponytails and dresses like a female sometimes, like for some of his videos to like be like an actor. Like he acts, but like he is the character in like all roles. Like it's pretty fun. Like he's very
Oh, that's
goofy
funny.
and it's just fun to watch. So a highly recommend from Haidushka over here.
Ooh.
And that is Doggett style training.
Alrighty.
Meows.
I'm gonna start with a company called Absolute Dogs. They are based out of Switzerland, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So this company was created by Tom and Lauren. Tom is an author, dog trainer, vet, behaviorist, and Lauren is a dog trainer and world-class agility handler. And you can see when you watch the videos, you can almost tell that Lauren does that for a living. Like she's a handler. Just the way
Mm-hmm.
like she handles the dogs and the treats and all that. You can tell they have a purely positive approach, and their slogan, believe, is that there's a game for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you're looking something up and there's like an app for that. There's
Yes.
an app for that. Well, there's a
Yeah.
game for that. So they believe that everything is possible with games just to make it more enjoyable for your dog. So they get results through inspiration rather than force and intimidation. So, for example, I feel like they take training techniques, they give it a fun name, and they call it a game,
Yeah.
and they just make it like really really fun for the dog. So, for example, impulse control with the mouse game. So what they do is that they have the dog on this cot, so like a bed cot,
Mm-hmm.
and they hide a treat under their hand. It's like the hand is like a little house for the treat, and the mouse is like the treat inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
So the dog sits there, and when the dog does not paw at your hand to get the treat, you reward the dog. And then they go like
Okay.
longer and longer without having to like paw at your hand. And then they figure out that, hey, I get a treat if I don't, try to get under the little house to get the mouse.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then they call like proximity games. So they called one Typhoon, one Tornado, and one Thunder. So for example, they throw like food through your legs, and then
Mm-hmm.
they make the dog like run through your legs,
Mm-hmm.
and then the dog stay between your legs. You make them go in around you, so you hold your treat at their level, and then you make the treat go around your legs, and then the dog just follows you. So that's like the tornado game. So I just found like a lot of the videos. So they do have DVDs available online to purchase, but they have very like small clips
Mm-hmm.
online on YouTube. And it's hard to know sometimes like, okay, so what does this actually do? Like it looks fun, and it teaches your dog to like focus on you, like, hey, I'm more fun than everything else around you. But it's hard to like pinpoint. So I'm going to do this to teach the dog this.
Yeah. It sounds like yeah, like non-structured.
Yeah. So I don't know if
Yeah.
the videos are more structured, but the
Yeah.
clips on YouTube are a little bit hard to follow, which makes me think that their process might be lengthy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I haven't seen videos. I've heard good reviews. I've read good
Mm-hmm.
reviews about them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Now, were the reviews like on their site or were they like independent reviews?
Independent reviews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Um, and then what else do they do? So they like to teach dogs concepts instead of behaviors because they believe that behaviors, like such as teaching your dog sit repetitively, down repetitively, is not good for real life situations. So they like to focus and teach what they call optimism, focus, and self control. So what I found was like optimism is kind of like whatever your dog encounters, make it like a positive experience.
Mm,
So to me, that's kind of like socialization.
yeah.
So they're just naming it optimism. So it's all like good stuff. But yeah, I don't know if their training method is for me. They seem good at what they do. They're world class dog trainers, like Lauren is. They're very enthusiastic about what they do. So some people like them. I don't think it's for me. I'm more like of a matter of fact, balance kind of training style.
Yeah, and talking about trainers on this episode, it's inevitable that we are going to bring up the whole purely positive versus balanced approach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with about that I find and that I feel about balanced trainers is that they're using all that good stuff, that the positive like reinforcement, but I find that when the purely positive people speak about the balanced approach people, it's like they make it sound like you're using force and intimidation and bullying your dog and like hitting and like pinching and grabbing. And I understand that like like I have never seen a balance trainer say hit your dog, like
No.
kick your dog in the ribs or anything like that. Like we talked about the bonker, which is like a towel, but that's
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, I mentioned in previous episodes about training, is like they hate projectiles and you throw it at them or whatever as like a negative a consequence. But I'm not kicking my dog like if they make it sound like abusive, like if they make it sound like it like you are being very aggressive towards your dog,
Yeah.
and it's not you're being a
It's not at
leader.
all.
It's just like um I think last week when we reviewed that book by Zach George or whatever, and he makes reference to um eh, children in a classroom, and he's like, now did you respond better to teachers who yelled at you and screamed at you, and like, or did you
I'm like,
respond to the
yes.
teacher that, or did you respond to the teacher who was nice and like kind to you? And I was like, I had really great teachers, but but I still had boundaries with them, and we were in a leadership
Yeah.
uh relationship together. They're the
They were a
leader
figure
and the
of
mentor.
authority. Yeah.
Yes, they were a figure of authority, and I had to listen to what they do, and that didn't that we still had an excellent relationship with each other. And that's how I would like draw a comparison to the balanced approach with the dogos.
Yeah. I think that's a good
So
comparison.
yeah.
So on their website, so just by looking at their website, you get a feel for their style. So they do have what they call like solutions. So for different types of training that you want to do with your dog, like different types of issues. So they have one that's called Naughty But Nice. So this is for dogs. They say that like barking, lunging, they pull on the leash, they lack focus, they're overly excited. So they provide games that you can do. They're like 3-minute games that you can do with your dog. That will shape them to be more focused, pull less on the leash, less barking, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if I had a big dog that would pull on the leash, I don't know how I would teach them without having a balance approach.
I wish we could interview like each of these people that we're talking about, because and when you talk when we talk about the purely positive trainers out there, those are the questions that I want to ask them, because um as you're describing the absolute dogs to me, and I've seen the ads for them for whatever reason, they started popping up all the time on like on my Facebook or whatever. So it's like these short little like ad videos where they're like advertising themselves, and they do seem like very energetic, like high energy, and like, look at this, and like, we do games and play games with your dogs, and like, do you want a better dog, like, we're going to use it doing games. But like,
Hmm.
if you present them with a dog that is biting people and like biting children and super aggressive and super anxious about stuff, I would love to ask them if they had an experience with somebody who brought this type of dog to them, and how
And
they
how
start,
they,
and how you use a purely positive approach to correct
yeah.
a super aggressive dog.
And
I would be
even
curious.
starting with like leash pressure,
Hmm.
like even that's just a balanced approach because you're putting pressure, like they would say, you're putting pressure on your dog's neck, but it's not, you're not like yanking, right? You're like
Yeah,
walking, they're walking ahead of you, you put the pressure, as soon as they come back they're like, oh, like that pressure is released, now I'm.
like the language that they use to describe the balanced approach, like I said, it makes it sound like they're like choke collars and like popping of the leash and like
Mm-hmm.
hitting your dog or kicking your dog. And like I said, I've never seen a balanced approach do that. But now, mind you, when using a prong collar, and if you're correcting a dog and you use a quick pop, it's you're not like yanking and like hanging your dog like in the air and
It's
you're
a
not
very
even,
subtle like
it's a very
pop.
subtle, it's the equivalent of, let's say, you're trying to get your friend to draw attention to something, like and you nudge them in the elbow. It's like a nudge in the elbow, like, hey, look at this, like really quick. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're like, hey, listen to me. You know what I mean? It's like a nudge of the elbow. It's not like a choke of like the like, you're not like killing them. You're not like I have used the prong collar. I have popped the leash like when I need to, and not once has my dog yelped or barked or whimpered or whined or anything. And again, it's all in the education of how to use the tool that you are using.
Yeah, correct.
Anything is dangerous if you don't know how to use it. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm
No,
sorry. I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. I always felt like the purely positive approach is a good approach, and you could potentially only use that approach if you get a puppy
Hmm.
that's like a clean slate.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what about rescues with like big time behavioral issues?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you you need to create boundaries.
Yep. So yeah, so this group is they're purely positive. They look like fun games for your dog. I mean, the dogs really look like they're having fun and learning. Their dogs do seem like they're behaving quite well in the videos.
Hmm.
So, if that's something sounds interesting to you, they do have DVDs online that you can purchase. And they do have some YouTube videos to look at.
My question, and I forgot to mention it with Doggett style training, is how much is it for absolute dogs?
Oh, I'm going to have to check.
So for in the trainers that I've looked up, because people are always curious to know, okay, how much is this going to cost me, right? Because again, it's in like another one of those investments into your dog. And there is, like we had mentioned earlier, you can YouTube a video on like just about anything. A lot of these people have like free videos and sessions and webinars and stuff like that going on right now. So if you are like a self-directed learner, you could definitely go about learning how to train your dog on your own, or by purchasing like a book for 20 to 30 bucks. But if you want to contact a dog trainer to help you with stuff, there's a variety of options available. And so for Doggett style training, but I think his like online videos, so for sessions, and very structured, and starting here and going through, and again with these like short snippet videos to help you with like super easy exercises. I believe it was, I thought it was like 195 bucks, but he had a special going on right now that was 95 Canadian to sign on to his courses. And again, most of these trainers, they also offer one-on-one. And I can tell you right now, one-on-one training is always going to be more expensive. And so he has packages starting at $1,800 for the one-on-one.
Ooh, wow.
And during COVID right now, he's doing it via 1 hour sessions through Zoom that he'll do with you. So, yeah, to keep that in mind. That's the cost sort of involved for him. I can't imagine what he would be like one on one. I wonder if he's as entertaining as in his videos. He probably is.
Probably.
Seems
It's
like a
probably
very
just how
personable
he is.
guy. I'm a
Yeah.
fan. He won me over.
So I'm looking at Absolute Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So I lied. It's not DVDs. It's digital downloads. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like stuck in the in the
What
earlier
is this,
years.
1992?
um, so the Naughty but Nice digital download is 34, I guess it's euros.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And they do have audiobooks also, like How to Become a Concept Trainer. And then The Leash Off Game, Pup to Perfection, Boundary Games. Set those boundaries.
they seemed
Uh,
like in their advertisement videos. Sorry to interrupt again. They seem like there was I went to a drama school growing up, a theater school where we did drama
yes.
kids, and
Yeah.
they seem like drama kids, like super high
Yeah.
energy and like, let's do this, let's go, look at me do this, like, oh, blah 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 blah. Like, it seemed like very
I want some of
very
their
out there.
energy.
Yes,
Give
yes.
me. Can I buy that on digital download? I'm running low.
Mm-hmm.
Except for today, I'm on this little high.
All right. Are you ready for me to go on to my next one?
Yeah.
So I decided to go with a local one. Again, didn't want to show my bias today, although I feel like it's coming through anyways, but decided to go with a purely positive company right here in our city, Ottawa. I know my mother in law used this company for a bit, and I will let you know what her thoughts on it were. But it's called Carol Lark Dog Training. And so they are purely positive approach people. And it says our tools of choice to influence your behavior are food rewards, toys, praise, and life rewards and permissions. What's life rewards and permissions?
I don't know.
I don't
Do you
know
get to go
either.
on the couch?
And it says, we promise to never throw, squirt, or spray things at your dog, hurt, intimidate, or yell at your dog, stare your dog down, growl, or alpha roll him. Okay, we need to Google alpha roll. I need to see what alpha roll means, but I think it
Oh, I
means like
think you
you
put
literally,
them on their backs, right?
yeah, you take them and you like flip them, forcing them into submission, which again, I've never seen a balanced trainer do. I'd be curious to ask the one that I'm going to talk about next about that. But anyways, they promise not to use shock, e-collar, prong, or choke collars. They promise never to use leash corrections with flat, martingale, prong, or choke collars. And they promise never to use physical corrections such as kicks, smacks, jabs, pinches, or pokes. Do you see the
Yeah.
do you see
I
the
mean, some
language I'm talking
people,
about here?
yeah. I mean, there's people that are looking for that. So, I mean, it's good that it's out there.
I guess
I
so,
can
but
say when I got Wiggum, um, I wasn't informed about the other approaches. I went the purely positive way. Wiggum was easy to train.
mhm.
Like he caught on very quickly and he just didn't he wasn't nice but naughty.
Yes.
Not, I mean, naughty but nice. He was just nice except for the eating of the socks.
Mhm.
um, and it is a good approach.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't think it fixes uh,
every dog.
problems that are more than just minor. And
Exactly.
maybe it does and it just takes longer.
Mhm.
But for the people that are looking for that approach, then it's good that it is out there. But I
Yeah.
am also now that I've researched more,
Mhm.
definitely more of a balanced training style.
Yeah, I think like if you're lucky, like again, you always start with the most positive like approach, but if they need a boundary or they need a correction, then you start with like again, like very low threshold stuff here, you know what I mean? You don't start by kicking them like or yelling. And all of the balanced trainers will always tell you that, like, you don't like, and I think I mentioned this like on a previous episode, you don't need to yell like no, like you don't need to yell at them, you just go
Yeah.
no.
Nope.
You do it calmly.
Redirect
It's a
them.
very, yeah, very matter of fact, just like no, try again. It's just like this, the same thing, like it doesn't need to be aggressive. So anyways, so Carol Arc training, purely positive. They have a variety of different classes that they offer. They do puppy training, good manners, specialized obedience, sports classes, brain and body work, which I didn't check out, which I'm
I
curious
feel like
about
I
that.
need those classes.
I think, well, I think the brain, yeah, it's called brain games, which again, I think that's the difference between like physical exercise and then the mental exercise. So I think that's doing a lot of mental exercise work with them. Um, the group sessions I think start between like $400 and $500. Even just to consult them is like $130, but that's for a 75-minute long consult. They have a behavioral training package, which is $430, and they do online consultations for $90. But I know that they had group stuff available too. But again, COVID has really messed stuff up. So I think a lot of people right now on their websites are converting their, just like everyone else, they are pivoting their business
Mm.
approach to be COVID friendly. And it seems like they have like a lot of online stuff going. So, yes, that's them. So my mother-in-law went to the group sessions with her puppy, and again, like they use the purely positive approach, and for them it was like the small like liver treats. So my mother-in-law has a miniature golden doodle named Gracie,
Oh.
a cute little doodle, a cute little doodle, and she found it was too much treats. And I saw it, like we mentioned, like when I did my book review last week, Zach George talks about like, and if you find your dog's gaining weight, then like decrease the amount of treats. Well, I'm telling you, like the treats that my mother-in-law was giving her were like little liver treats cut to like almost the size of a grain of rice. But when you're doing constant training with them, like even in the session, it's just like treat, treat,
Hmm.
treat, 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 treat. You're still,
Yeah.
it doesn't
It's a
matter what
lot of
size it
treats,
is. Like, yeah, exactly. So
especially when they're like tiny puppy.
well, exactly. So that's again, that's like one of the there's pros and cons to everybody's approach. I would say that's one of the cons to the purely positive. And that's what I'll say about Carol Arc. But she learned, like, again, it's not like she walked away with like only negative things. She learned a lot of great things through Carol Arc as well. And again, there's that's what's good about the balance. There's really
Hmm.
great things about the positive approach, and if you do the corrections, like we've been mentioning over and over again, like gently, they don't have to be aggressive. You start with like low threshold sort of stuff to see what works for each individual dog. There's a lot to be gained, and each dog is an individual, just like we are as humans, and different things work for different people, and different things work for different dogs.
Hmm.
So yeah, Carol Arc,
I
she
feel like
got a
it's a
lot of,
good place to start.
yeah, exactly, absolutely, absolument. All right, what you
Absolument.
got? What you got?
My next one, I found him on YouTube just searching for training videos, which I've been
Mhm.
watching nonstop. Training and grooming videos. That's all I see in my Facebook, my YouTube feed now. That's all that pops up. So my next one is he's called Nate Schumer. He's a dog trainer, a canine educational expert. He's also a former United States Marine.
Whoa.
He helped people establish their own dog training companies that are similar to I can't talk to his. He also, through Animal Planet, was the co-host of Rescue Dog to Super Dog. So he took on like rescue dogs and transformed them into like service dogs,
Wow.
into super dogs. And he also trains service dogs for veterans and people with disabilities.
Oh
So
my
Nate
God, I
Schumer,
love that.
I know
He sounds awesome. I don't think I've ever seen anything Nate Schumer, but that sounds
he's
amazing.
really good. I really like him. He
Hmm.
has a balanced approach, and I think that leans more, well, from the videos that I've seen so far, that leans more towards purely positive. So there is a lot of treats. What's good about him is that he'll teach like the purely positive way, so with a lot of treats, and then he'll show also with like leash pressure. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching mostly so far the basic obedience training series. So he has a series on YouTube. If you go to his website, click on dog training videos, it'll automatically send you to YouTube. So
Mm-hmm.
these are all free.
That's amazing.
So in the series, he has actually like a golden retriever puppy who's like super cute. His name is
Oh.
Derby.
Mm-hmm.
He also has sometimes his own dog. He's called Charlie. He's like a reddish Labrador retriever, and he has a Malinois who's just like gorgeous.
I love the Malinois.
I
I
know,
love them. They're gorge.
and gorge.
Gorge, adorbs. Adorbs gorge.
So he starts this basic training series by reviewing like training equipment. So he has markers for dog training. So he has the continuation marker and the terminal marker. So if you ask your dog to sit and he does a sit and you say yes, so that's his continuation marker, which means like you're staying in that position. And then if the dog sits and he says free, then the dog is free. It's like a release
Mm-hmm.
word. So he has those two markers. He teaches about like focus, luring. So if you're teaching your dog like the down command, he teaches you like how to place the treat in your hand so that the dog does it down. And then he'll teach you also how to do it with leash pressure instead of having the treat in your hand. What else does he do? He has a video on how to introduce your new puppy into your home. So he actually like comes home with this golden retriever puppy, takes him around his house on a leash, and then he like set up some little traps. So he had like socks on the floor that he left there for the puppy,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like maybe I should have done with Wiggum. um, and then like the puppy goes for the socks and he just like does a little pop with a leash and then like no.
Mm-hmm.
And then once like the dog just kind of sits there, he's like, yes. And then he gives them a treat.
Yeah.
So you're starting off on the right foot as soon as your dog enters your house.
Training starts day one.
And then
Mm-hmm.
he also mentions to use like the meal food. So as treats to use the treat the kibble that you would use for meals
Mm-hmm.
instead of giving your dog extra extra treats during the
Yes.
day. He also has other videos besides like the obedience series. He does have a video on scent training,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm looking forward to look at,
Yes.
and then more advanced stuff. So yeah, I think I really like his style. The videos are very like straightforward. He teaches good like techniques, and I really like Nate Schumer.
He sounds like a pretty awesome doggo dude.
Mhm.
That's funny when you said he's like military trained. Like, what is he? He's
A
Navy
Marine.
Marine. Yeah. Hooah! Tell me he's like military style. He's like, all right, dog, get down, give me 20. Hooah!
He looks like he's probably a Marine, but
Does he? Does he got like
his
the buzz
voice,
cut?
yeah,
Is he like a buff like
yeah,
buzz cut? Like
yeah. But he's very gentle.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so
I
he
love
he
people.
teaches you the technique with like the puppy, and then he teaches you like examples with his own dogs.
Yeah.
So what it looks like when they kind of catch on
Mm-hmm.
and
I
need
love it.
less guidance.
And do you want to know what? Like my suggestion is like, and even for you, Vero, like getting a puppy and anybody out there getting a puppy, like watch several different people with their several different approaches and people like there's so many people that put the videos out there because like I said, training starts day one and you kind of walk in and you think, okay, what should I be doing with my dog right now? And you're kind of watching them and you're kind of nervous and you think like this, like you want it to be perfect from day one and it's not. They're like any living being, like any any animal. We're all animals and we make mistakes and there's errors and we learn how to interact with each other. And so you feel like, well, if they pee on the floor, well, great, like what a rough start. And it's not. Like, expect that these things are going to happen, and
Yeah.
watch like the videos and watch what to see, because then you start to learn, like, oh, you start to recognize, oh, they're getting it.
Yeah.
Okay, they're responding to the training. You see what it looks like. And because sometimes you think like, oh man, am I overdoing it? And sometimes it's almost like a choreographed dance, right? Like when you're getting them, when you're marking like with a yes, or like a yes, stay, or like a good boy, and or did I do it too soon? Or you go to correct them and to say with like a no, did I do it too soon? Did I do it too late? Are they understanding me? And they can't talk to you, right? So you're guessing, like in the
Yeah.
beginning, as you grow and start to learn your dog. So the more videos that you can watch, like you can you'll notice the same sort of
Yeah.
behaviors with your own dog and your own experience. So
And Nate Schumer was saying, like, for the potty training, it's almost good to let your dog like fail once so
we
that you
learn
can
from
correct
mistakes.
them. Yeah.
Yes, we learn from
So
mistakes.
when there is a mistake, then it's an opportunity for you to correct that
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Yes.
always like rewarding the good behavior when there's a
Yeah.
bad one.
It's like,
Then
no.
okay,
Yeah,
correction. And
exactly.
like you were saying, like the leash, like the pop of the leash, like Nate was showing this tiny golden retriever, like thresholds. So he's at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
He's opening the door. Golden retriever gets up and he's like, nope. And he pulls the dog back, like just a little bit, closes the door.
Exactly.
And
Just
then
like,
he just sits like on his own and then
mm-hmm.
opens the door. And then, okay, stays there. He's like, okay, I'm going to take a step forward, see what he does. And then you see the golden retriever like charging through the door and he's like, nope. And then he brings him back with the leash. Like that's a correction and it's not aggressive.
Yeah, I'm going to use like another analogy here. And like, so let's say you're in a building that you're unfamiliar with and you're going to leave a room and you go to push the door open, but the door doesn't open. So you're like, hmm. And you're like trying to push out the door and you're like, what the heck? And then you're like, oh, I have to pull it. And then you pull the door open and you walk through, right? So it's the same with dogs. It's like you're giving them that boundary, like, no, that's what like leash pressure sort of is. It's like, oh no, I can't do this. Okay, why am I not? Oh, if I sit down, oh, then this works. It's forcing the
Yeah.
dog to make a different decision. And then when you're like, oh, now it works, then it's like, oh, okay, that's how this works. Okay, that's how we
I
do
like that
things around here.
analogy.
You know what I mean? And it
I
doesn't
know
hurt
what you
you to
mean.
you know what I mean? So it doesn't hurt you to push on a door and think, why isn't this working? It's not hurting you. When you go to like push on that door, nobody's kicking you in the ribs or like shocking you in the neck. Like,
Like, hey, you're supposed to pull.
you know what I mean? Like, it's those types of things. It's just like, it makes them go, things that make you
Make
go,
you go.
All right. Should I continue on to my last and fave?
Yes.
My last trainer that I would like to speak about is a dude by the name of Jeff Gelman, and his company is called Solid K9 Training. And I'm going to try to quickly just talk about everything that this guy has to offer. He has so much to offer. He is a balanced trainer. And when you watch TED Talks or you have like a certain prof, or there's just certain people, like whether they're celebrities or whether they're just people in your lives or a teacher you had once or whatever, that are just naturally engaging people, that is this dude. You listen to him speak and he's got you hooked like within the first minute. And he's just seems like a very down to earth, no nonsense, like he shoots straight from the hip. He's just he I can't say anything bad about him. Sometimes he gets a little heated, like in some of the stuff that he does, but I find that entertaining. So that might be a little bit uncomfortable for some other people. And again, like, people learn differently. People need different forms of learning to get the point. So even though I think he's great, he might not be for everybody. Even though Absolute Dogs isn't for Vero, that might be somebody else's perfect cup of tea. Like, so explore and figure out what works for you. But anyways, Jeff Gelman, Solid Canine Training. So they do board and train. They do training consults. He has a shadow program where he has like people who have trained with him in his company, where you can go and shadow them. And like, and again, like, he's doing well because everything comes at a cost, but I am telling you, it's worth it. And he offers not just dog training. When I say he offers everything, I mean everything. They have social media training. Like, if you're doing, like, if you have an Instagram account for your dog, if you have a podcast, he teaches you how to make videos, how to make, what software to use for them. Like, he does
Ooh, I didn't know
everything.
that.
Yeah, neither did I until I looked it up, and I was just like, man, this guy just keeps getting more and more awesome. Like, he's insane, man. He has daycare and boarding that he offers. He does plenty of seminars. Him and his wife and his whole family are involved in his business, and they get in an RV and they travel around and do these like seminars with different people. So when you go to the Solid Canine Training website, what I would recommend you guys do is click at the top under the tab called seminars, and there's a YouTube video there, and that's going to tell you and show you exactly what this man does for a living. And it's a short, quick video. Here, I'm just trying to like look at it now. Whoop. Uh-oh, I'm closing it. I didn't, I meant to open it and then close it. There we go. Okay. So it's 2.5 minutes long, and that will give you a good sense of what this guy's about. And let me tell you, it's impressive. You can also pay for personal video slash phone consults with him. Like I said, he's doing well. So for a 30-minute phone call, you will pay $100. And stuff like that. But and he also has, his wife does social media consults as well, and she charges $125 for 30 minutes. And they have a variety of different things that you can do. Then they also have like another area where it's like you can pay to be an exclusive guest to some of their Q&As and web seminars that they do, and they have a Zoom room where they do stuff. He now has a podcast. He used to do a radio show but switched to podcast, I forget which year. But anyways, I just think that this guy is amazing, and he offers a variety of free resources. Like, just go, like, even the website, just click through everything and watch everything that this guy has to offer. And he's just amazing. And that's all I will say about Solid Canine Training. Watch his
Yeah.
videos. They're entertaining.
He's like
They're
straight to the
engaging.
point, no
He's
fluff.
no fluff. And he's worked with dog, like, his whole thing, like in this video that I'm suggesting that you watch, as he talks about the millions of dogs that are put down in shelters every year. And he truly believes that there is not a dog out there that is untrainable. He has worked with the most aggressive of dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he said his whole thing is, he's like, there's people out there that are in pain, and trying to figure out the relationship with this dog, and they feel like they're going to have to go and put them down. And he's like, and you don't have to. I will help you get there. So, yas to Jeff Gellman, everybody.
Jeff. Yes to Jeff.
Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
So, to summarize, there are a variety of different trainers out there. There's, for the most part, a couple of different approaches, but there's new ones coming out. Google, research, figure out what works for you, ask around. There's so many people willing to help you with your dogs. There's so many people that love dogs and are passionate about them. There's podcasts. There's us. You can always turn to Vero and Heidi. And yes, so do your research and choose a trainer or become a trainer, or just have fun with your dog.
Yeah.
Y'alls.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in next week on Boop Snoots.
On Let's Boop.
Boop.